it's me, Dr. GB. Let's continue that discussion on the history of mRNA technology. So once we figured out that we could manipulate mRNA to use them as vaccine vehicles, they were super attractive to scientists because developing an mRNA-based vaccine takes a lot less time than the traditional method, which is taking a virus and then weakening it. Why is this the case? We're going to use an analogy. So let's think about the mRNA vaccine vector as a cookie recipe. So let's say I have my Nanner's recipe for oatmeal scotchies. It's a tried and true recipe and I love it. But one day I look in my cupboard and I don't have any butterscotch chips, but I have chocolate chunks from Trader Joe's instead. So what I can do is I can keep that same base recipe and just swap out the butterscotch chips for chocolate chunks, and instead of oatmeal scotchies, I have oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, and they're still delicious. This is essentially the principle behind how mRNA vaccines work. So scientists have already put in the legwork to develop the cookie recipe and the baking time, all right? So they have those parts of the mRNA that are on the outsides that protect the part that gets turned into a protein. And they also have developed the wrapping paper that protects the mRNA as it is injected into our bloodstream. So once we go ahead and we figure out the sequence for the mRNA that codes for the spike protein that we want to target, we can simply go ahead and insert it into that platform. It's a much harder and more involved version of swapping out chocolate chips for butterscotch chips into cookies or sprinkles, or switching out the charms on a charm bracelet. So it's really important to emphasize that this technology didn't spontaneously develop in 2020. So even though scientists were not able to use this technology on a large scale for previous viral outbreaks, scientists did spend a lot of time refining this technology through the Ebola and the Zika outbreaks. All right? And so ultimately, we were able to have this design part ready for COVID because we had spent time with previous outbreaks developing the technology. And then there were several other factors with COVID that we'll talk about in the next video that made the platform ready to go so we could spring to action and use it relatively quickly.